Pac is my favorite wrestler in the world. All right, like I'll say that week after week after week until other people start to recognize how awesome this dude is.
No, I mean this is you'll beat the drum.
Like the way this dude's career has played out and where he's at in AEW, I'm so happy. I don't know if Tony Khan is he recognizes, maybe he remembers me from All Out when in 2019 when I was screaming at the top of my lungs throughout the whole show when Pac was going against Hangman. Like, I love Pac. I think that he's every bit as good as anyone in the whole world. And to see him get into this match, I'll be honest with you, I was expecting him to steal the show for me. I came away most impressed by your guy Fenix. I came away so impressed by Fenix in this match.
I completely agree, man. He was, we'll reveal our top performers shortly, but Fenix is, I was texting you, I'm like, he's the best. He is the best in AEW right now, in my opinion. Just the ring work, his entrance music, his Justin Roberts, Rey, so the little bit, now I can say, since it was a six-man tag, obviously he's not in the whole ring the whole time. He's put on back-to-back amazing matches on Dark, this past week and the week before. And this guy is just so incredible. But before the match, we dived into it deeper. I was a little surprised that the champ, Kenny Omega, came out first, and we had some new music. I was hoping for a typical Justin Roberts, long, drawn-out entrance from Kenny, the cocky entrance. But we had some new music with Kenny and the Good Brothers, which was a nice surprise. And then you had the Moxley and the Death Triangle.
The entrance for Moxley, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entrance from Moxley, Phoenix, and Pac was more, I guess more grand and kind of built up than Kenny and Good Brothers, right?
Yeah, and you did have that little bit of the Rey and then the Jon Moxley, which we all love from Justin Roberts. It kind of gives you chills going down the spine. Like, Justin Roberts is so good. We got to give him props on the mic, man. He really can hype an intro, make someone feel really special. But his Jon Moxley is amazing.
His Jon Moxley's amazing. And I mean, dude, the rolling of those R's, it felt like he went on for days, man. That Rey Fenix dude that intro was on point. I want to see more Phoenix on Dynamite simply for that introduction.
Well, that's like how I feel about a lot of it. I mean, we talked about on our Twitter of, best entrances. And so an entrance is a spectacle that is fun to watch, both on TV and live. You really, I grew up like mimicking entrances and stuff, playing the theme songs and then coming out down the stairs as Stone Cold and things like that.
Yup. I was doing the Stone Cold. Yup.
Anyways, as we digress into the match, it was extremely fast paced, extremely hard hitting. I love Pac's rolling German suplexes against the ropes. I mean, you've said it before. He can sell like no other in the biz, man. That guy can be a dead fish in the snap of the fingers, and then he can do a 450 splash on the other hand. So, the paradigm shift by Kenny and then the top rope move by Pac was amazing. The double moonsault by Phoenix, that camera angle, props to the team, because they had this overhead camera angle where they did the double moonsault. And wow, man, just standing on the top rope to be able to do that, just to have the confidence and the fearless, it's really incredible stuff. And I love the match. It delivered. I'm still not sold on the Good Brothers being here because there's so much better AEW talent in my opinion, but this was a great match and the ending was absolutely mind-blowing. And I'll let you talk about it and then we'll get Bonds' biggest moment and then wrap that up.
I'm going to wax poetic a little bit about this one just because for me, dude, like I was not expecting. I mean, I think the obvious story, right, was, and Don Callis talked about on the mic, how Moxley is kind of he's used to being the lone wolf in AEW, right? He's kind of had his back against the wall and hasn't really had a lot of allies. And so that did play into the way this match fought. And I think that, I got to give – I mean, I want to give credit to – you mentioned the camera crew and the production crew, not giving us a headache or nauseating us like WWE can sometimes, where they're just switching back and forth to a million different camera angles. Yeah. They caught everything. You didn't miss anything crazy on this one. But the commentary team continues at AEW to be on point. They not only narrate what's going on screen, but they truly do a nice job of establishing, building stories, leaning into the character work. Don Callis was a great addition to the commentary team tonight. I really liked that extra, kind of that extra bias that he threw into this matchup and the story that he played into this match. He pointed out multiple times about, Fenix, Pac, and Moxley not necessarily being on the same page or being used to teaming with each other.
True.
And we did see that come into play with Moxley's offense in particular. That said, there were moments in this one where that team, they really gelled and they popped. I mean, there was some tandem offense where I was truly kind of blown away. There was a close finish against Omega that in particular where, I mean, it was just like all three of those guys were just going ham on Omega. Got a close call on that. And then I also really loved how Pac broke up that pin attempt by using that top rope. I mean, like the 450, that was insane. And Colton Gunn, Colton Gunn was in the front row, popping like a madman for that one. I was like, thank you. You're me right now, but you're there. Thank you for popping so hard for that move. That was incredible. I really, really enjoyed that. And honestly, dude, I'll tell you this. I could watch Fenix and Omega fight for an hour. I could just sit there and watch those two go at each other. Again, I'm excited to see Pac and Fenix presented as equals to a Moxley and Omega. I really like to see that. I like to see AEW recognizing the star power those guys have.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm not necessarily the biggest Good Brothers fan myself, and I don't want to be quick to rush to judgment, right? I know that I might have a little bias against them based off of what I've seen in the past with their characters in other promotions in North America, but I don't want to be. I've already learned my lesson. I'm quickly with the Acclaimed as an example. You're not on board with them yet. You and I both were kind of about them.
Right.
They first burst on the scene, but I'm on board with the Acclaimed. I see what people see in them. I think that they got charisma, and they have a natural ability to kind of talk smack, which I like. So I don't want to rush to judgment to the Good Brothers. I want to see where this goes. I want to pump the brakes a little bit before I condemn them being such a big part of AEW. I will say BTE doesn't feel the same with them on it.
Yeah.
They've taken some of that, like, I don't know.
It's not the humor that fits with the BT and AEW, in my opinion. So, I mean, we talked about it. We'll try to see the silver lining in it, but the Good Brothers on BTE are not the vibe that we are used to. And give us more John Silver, give us more Dark Order shenanigans, get the core guys, it's borderline offensive, nauseating. And, there is some boundary they push the envelope on BTE, but this is just to another level. It's not really exciting.
Yeah. But I will agree with you on that. I will say, looking for the silver lining as we try to do, their in-ring work is as good as I've seen them. They clearly are. They're in great shape. You can tell Gallows is in phenomenal shape right now. Yeah. Carl Anderson's always kind of been the workhorse of that crew. That dude doesn't get the credit that he deserves because he's the small guy. So he oftentimes has to be the one who fights from underneath. But I got to give these guys credit. I see that their in-ring work is as good as I've seen. And when you're paired up with Kenny Omega, you better be on your A game, right? You better be able to carry your weight, because that dude is the best in the world. I mean, I have to give him his props, man. I don't know about you, but every time we see Kenny, I'm more and more impressed by his character work, by his ability in the ring. It just he delivers, man. He delivers. High expectations are always on a Kenny Omega match, and he always delivers. So I got to give him props on that. Overall, this match, sometimes in 6-mans or 8-mans or whatever, they can get chaotic to a point that it can be a detriment.
Right.
I thought this match was fluid. It was tight. It told a cohesive story. And I really do believe that, the continuation of Kenny and the Good Brothers is going to lead to a lot of entertaining television. We saw that in the end of this show. Kenny and the Good
my
Brothers,
gosh.
kind of their New Japan ties. I wonder where that's if they're gonna be allies of Kenta, or if it's just gonna be Kenta versus Moxley based off of sort of their independent history. Knowing AEW, they're gonna interweave these characters in a beautiful pattern, a beautiful little mesh. We've seen it time and time again. They know how to tie all these different characters into one beautiful story. So I'm really geeked to see where this goes.
Well,